simplicity of the perceived simplicity of cloud, but still enable you to maintain centralized control of your content, but allow you to distribute it out to people outside of your enterprise or inside of your enterprise who don't often touch content, maybe will not be provisioned for your applications, and enable them to participate in sharing, managing, and implementing business processes around that content, but being able to provision it quickly and securely and safely. And that's a real key and important attribute. And how we do that is basically by centralizing the control of the distribution to the endpoints. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But recently we've been talking a lot about content chaos. And one of the things that I am focusing on in my career and my continued educational studies is the efficiency of the enterprise, how we build that connective tissue inside of an organization that makes us more efficient based on the addition of resources, typically human-based resources. Because what we've observed is a lot of those human-based resources, when they're added, they have a diminishing margin of return, and in some organizations actually have a negative return if the individuals and the assets are not brought into the organization in such a way that they fit. These are challenging and difficult puzzle pieces. This is not really, really easy stuff. And where we see that manifest itself is typically from a content perspective in the organization. The message of content chaos, of being able to understand where information is, when I need to get it, without having to actually go pull it myself to be proactively notified, being able to get that information easily inside and outside the firewall, but also securely inside and outside the firewall, is a real big focus. Because what it does is when you achieve that end, and there are some of our customers who have been extremely successful in achieving that end, your other systems end up having more value. So large organizations have tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars built into these mission-critical applications. ERP, supply chain, warehouse management. In the energy and utility business, it's going to be maintenance management systems. So there's a proliferation of all these large systems. But one of the things that can help connect them and keep them speaking to each other and having a better interface to your employees internally and also externally to the suppliers and the people who provide services to you is helping face content to them without having to provision them for the application. Because we all know outside people are not going to really access your application unless they do a huge amount of business with you and are really an extension of your enterprise. They may deal with multiple organizations. If they have to log on and navigate multiple applications, they would spend too much time doing that and probably be a lot less efficient. But if you can efficiently face the content to them and then involve them in the business process that that content drives, and then bring that back into your systems and then continue the processing of that of what you're trying to do, that actual business process methodology, back through your systems and to your internal people, there's a big win in that. The platform by itself does a bunch of interesting and exciting things, but the partners really make it become an application beyond the platform. So out of the box, there's a lot of stuff in Alfresco, but when you add the partner in, they're the guys who really make the B2B collaboration, the applications like big digital asset management projects really come to life.
The more commercially used aspects of Alfresco Share, so that all this is just sort of automated. So like when a document ends up in the contracts folder and it's a contract document type, the system will just apply what legal defines as the contract retention policy. The user doesn't know the difference, and legal's got what they want, so they can manage it later if